In this episode, we're gonna learn how to turn any simple illustration into a stretchy brush. Hi, my name is Esther Nariyoshi. I am an illustrator, designer, and a top teacher on Skillshare. You're watching my Quick Snack series here, where I explain how to use Adobe Illustrator in short episodes for designers and illustrators of all skill levels. What I mean by stretchy brush is that if I were to just draw a line and then come to my brush panel and click on one of these brushes that I just made, and it will stretch the belly portion of the pencil and then leave the head and the tail intact. The structure of this episode is going to be a little different because I'm sure some people probably just click on this video to learn to make the brush. And maybe some people are interested in learning how to make this pencil from scratch. So we're gonna make a brush out of this existing shape. And then after we're done, I'm gonna show you how I made this particular pencil. So let's get started. So over here, we have this little pencil. So our job is to make it an art brush. So I'm gonna select it and then come over to my brushes panel. By the way, if you can't see yours, you can always go to Window and then find your brushes here. So I'm just gonna double click mine. This will take me to my brushes panel. And this will take me to my brushes panel. So what I wanna do here is to create a new brush. So go ahead and click on this little plus icon at the bottom of the panel. And then in this case, we want an art brush. Go ahead and click on this little plus icon to create a new brush. And we want to select art brush and click on OK. And we want to make sure we stretch between guides. So this gives us an opportunity to tell Illustrator which portion can be stretched and which portion has to be kept intact. So I'm gonna drag my guides to the middle portion. It doesn't really matter too much about the color, but if you want to be able to change your color, you probably want to choose hue shift. I'm gonna leave it to none because I don't plan to change the color of my pencil. And then you can just go ahead and click on OK. Now we have a brush. You see 4 brushes here. That's because I've played with it before. Anyways, the bottom one is the latest. So go ahead and draw any path on your artboard. So I'm gonna press N to use my pencil tool. By the way, if you're interested in learning pencil tool and pen tool, you can check out my season 1 where I walk you through all the details. So I'm pressing N on my keyboard to activate my pencil tool and make sure I have a stroke color. It can be really light or dark, doesn't matter. And then I want to select the brush that I just made and then just draw and make sure my brush is selected. In this way, you can see the belly portion is stretched and the tail and the head is relatively intact. It is tiny bit squished over here. That's just the nature of the curve. So overall, it's still pretty good. As you see over here, which I think I just locked this layer. Let me just unlock it. There you go. You see over here, it looks pretty complicated, but this entire thing right here, the squiggly line, is actually just a path. So if I were to just choose a different brush, say using the basic, which is just a line, you can see the trajectory of my line. I can even make it thicker so it's more visible for you. See, that's my line right here. And because I've just made an art brush, I can apply my art brush to this line and it will give me the pencil look. And you can still change the property by using the stroke. just like any other brush. For example, if I want the whole thing to be 2 point instead of 1 point, it just makes the pencil a little bit chunkier. And you can even change the width of the pencil. Let's go back to 1 point. And you can use your width tool, which is Shift W, or you can click on this harp looking icon and then just find 1 point and then start dragging. So this will change the width of the pencil. It's not the best visual solution for this case, but I just want you to know that you do have that option. So this behaves just like any other brush. Now that we know how to make a stretchy art brush, let's learn about how to make this pencil. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this guy and build this pencil from scratch. I'm gonna press E for the free transform tool and grab one of the corners while holding Shift to keep the proportion so you can see this pencil a little bit better. So let's build from scratch. So I'm gonna start with some rectangle, which is M on my keyboard, I for color sampling. And next, I want to make some copies of this guy. So I'm gonna hold Option key while dragging. I have my smart guides turned on so I can see when the borders are touching each other. And then do the same action again by pressing Command D. So now I have 3 rectangles side by side. I'm gonna change the colors so they don't look like one big chunk. And then I'm gonna drag another rectangle for this ring right here. Right now I wanna make an exact copy at the exact location, which you can do by Command C and then Command F, which means that paste in front. So now I have 2 exact copy of this black ring right on top of each other. So I'm gonna make the top one pink. So sample this pink color and press E to access my free transform. And then just hover over the top and then just drag it down. Now we have an eraser. As you might have noticed, the bottom of the eraser is rounded. So we're gonna do that by selecting just the bottom 2 anchor points. So go ahead and click on A on your keyboard. Just click and drag so that we have the bottom 2 corners selected. And then just hold this little dot and drag it inside. This will round the corner for us. All right, now we have the body of the pencil. I want to shorten the pencil a little bit more. So I'm gonna do the same trick as we did for corner rounding. So go ahead and select A for direct selection tool, and then just drag everything except the top anchor points. So now we have these bottom anchor points selected, and just nudge it up a little bit. You can press arrow to move it up. If it's too slow for you, hold Shift while you press arrow. This will move 10 points at a time, or 10 pixels at a time. So this is a pretty good length. Now I can select everybody and move it down. And then we're gonna build the little pointy point here. So I'm gonna go ahead and select my Polygon tool and just click and drag. Before I release, I wanna press down arrow so that I can get my triangle. I'm holding Shift key now to keep it upright. And then after that, I'm gonna press E to make it a little skinnier. I'm gonna sample the color. Don't worry too much about the width of it yet. Let's build a shape first. Actually, I'm gonna give it a dark color right now so that you can see this shape better. It doesn't have a great contrast with the background yet. What I want to do right now is to make my corner a bit rounded. So I'm gonna click on A to select all my corners and then just drag this little corner rounder thing a little more inside. So I'm only looking at the tip of this triangle because the bottom is gonna be trimmed, so I'm not too concerned about it. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make a squiggly line here. I will use the segment tool, which is this little line right here, or / on your keyboard. So I'm just gonna hold Shift to make a horizontal line. And while it's selected, I will give it a stroke color and then put it on top right here. It's super thin right now, so I'm gonna make it thicker so you can see. Go ahead and click on Effect and Distort Transform, Zigzag. This one will give us the little squiggly thing. So you just play with the number until things looks like a pencil to you. And I also want to select smooth for the points. Okay. Maybe a little bit tighter. This seems to work. So go ahead and click on OK. Right now, this line is still an effect. It's not a path yet. So let me just zoom in. You can see the path is still the line segment that we just put down, which is a straight line. So I'm gonna go ahead and expand this effect. Basically, I turn this effect into a path. So when you go over to Object and expand Appearance, and this will create a path that actually follows the squiggly line. So now I'm gonna zoom out, select them both. And at this point, I want to build a shape with the Shape Builder tool, which is Shift M on your keyboard, or you can click on this icon. So whenever I click on something, I can lump it together. In this case, I just want to remove things that I don't need. It's easier for me. So I'm going to hold the Option key and to just remove these guys. It's a bit hard to remove this line. Well, when you do that, it kind of messes up the whole thing. So I'm just going to click on Selection tool and just manually move it up and then just delete the bottom outline. Now I'm gonna move this pencil up to here. I want to select the body of my pencil and then click on the Transform tool to make sure that I know the width of my pencil. It happens to be 180 pixels. This is a very pretty number. You don't always get that. So I'm gonna Command C and click on my little top and transform. I wanna make sure the link is highlighted. In that way, I have the proportion right. So go ahead and put in the number that is the width of your pencil. So I'm gonna Command V to paste it. In this way, I know these two shapes have the exact width. And now I'm just gonna take off these edges. As you might have guessed, I'm gonna select all of them together and then use the Shape Builder tool, Shift M, to only take out the kind of tiny ears right here. So hold your Option key, which will take things out. And there you go. I'm gonna go back to sample this wooden color. Last but not least, I will have my lead inside the pencil. That's the whole point of the pencil, right? So go ahead and make a circle or oval, it doesn't really matter, as long as the bottom is round. And you can't really see if you're lining up or not. So I'm just gonna select both of these and click on the wooden portion to make sure this one is my reference now, and click on Align to align horizontal align center. In this way, I know these two shapes are aligned. And then Shape Builder tool, here it comes again, Shift M, hold Option to take out the kind of big fan shape outside. So now I have a pencil. That's how I built this shape. I hope you have learned a thing or two. If you're interested in learning more about digital illustration, especially in Adobe Illustrator, go ahead and check out my other episodes in this series. I hope you find this tutorial helpful. Go check out my Skillshare classes by clicking the link below to get a free trial. I will see you next time.